Hello, I'm Sarah Norris with Total Child Care in Wilmington, North Carolina, and today we're going to talk about Child Care Code of Conduct. Mainly that would be the discipline policy that you have for your center. Most states are going to regulate very specifically about how discipline can be administered in a child care facility. You will need to look at your state guidelines and be sure that the discipline policy that you set for your center or family home is within the guidelines of the state. This will also tell your parents exactly what you can and will not do as far as discipline is concerned. In North Carolina, of course, corporal punishment is not allowed. Many other states have that same rule. So you would need to state that within your discipline policy. Your staff needs to be trained within that policy, and you need to talk with parents at parent orientation about what you do for discipline. It needs to be spelled out very specifically, as well as have your parents. They need to receive a copy of the form as well as sign a copy that you would keep in your files stating that they know, have seen, and understand your discipline policy. Within your state system, there are going to be regulations that are going to require that you follow those discipline guidelines very specifically. And so your state regulatory agencies can come down and inspect you at any time to make sure that you're following those guidelines. If a parent feels that you have violated those guidelines, then you may be reported to your local Department of Social Services or to the state regulatory agents, and then you would have to defend or make sure that your policy had been followed as it was stated. Discipline is important to teach young children. They learn when they know what they can do and what they cannot do. They learn better. They are more comfortable. They appreciate discipline, although they would tell you otherwise if you were to ask. They need guidelines, just as we adults need guidelines. We have a law that says we can only go a certain amount of miles per hour down a particular road. That's for a reason. It's to protect others. And so discipline policies are the same thing with children. They are for your child's protection as well as for other children, the other child's protection. So they need to be followed. They need to be stated clearly. Parents need to understand. You need to make sure your parents understand. You need to be sure your staff understands. You need to monitor and make sure that they are following those policies. So we've talked a little bit about discipline, code of conduct within child care centers today. Gives you a little bit about how you should form your policy, implement it, and be sure that it continues to be accurately carried out.